step up. We're gonna...
Please, that would help a little bit.
Yes, I'm fine.
Ready? Everybody online? Is everybody good?
Everybody ready?
Everybody online?
Ready. Ready?
Live shots now.
Looks like everybody's ready.
Yes, they're about to go.
My name is Sergeant Brian Washko, B-R-Y-A-N-W-A-S-H-K-O, with the Texas Department of Public Safety Media and Communications Office. We're here at the Killeen Mall. Obviously, there's a crime scene behind us. What happened at approximately 5 p.m. today, a Texas Highway Patrol trooper attempted to stop a black pickup truck that was called in as a possible DWI driver. The driver failed to yield right away to the trooper and continued. This was at the interchange in Belton at I-35 and I-14. The suspect traveled westbound, exited the highway, entered the Killeen Mall parking lot, as you can see behind me here, and continued to travel toward the building. Once he got to one of the main entrances of the JCPenney stores, the suspect drove through the glass doors. At this time, DPS troopers behind him, along with Killeen Police Department. Suspect drove through the doors and continued to travel through the JCPenney store, striking multiple people. At this, first of all, let me just reiterate: this is not an active shooter. There's a lot of chatter going online that it was the first came out as an active shooter. So we'll go ahead and squash that. That did not happen. Backing up, he did drive through the front door of the JCPenney store, striking 4 people. Those people were transported with some to severe to minor injuries, and there was one other patient that I just recently found out was a walk-in at the emergency room relating to this incident. So we have 5 total patients, unknown ages, conditions. So the trooper and the Killeen police officer continued on foot after this vehicle, which was driving through the store, actively running people over. He traveled several hundred yards, and there's officers from DPS, the Killeen Police Department, and 3 other agencies that engaged in gunfire to eliminate this threat to the community. So we have the suspect down. There's no longer further threat to the community. Like I said, it is not an active shooter as initially reported, but other than somebody who was running from the law, decided to drive through the Killeen Mall at Christmas time, running over 4 people. Hopefully we don't have any other deaths than the suspect in this case. To those that were involved, our prayers are with them, of course, and their families, especially at Christmas time. Obviously, this is not, you don't want this to happen at all, but this time makes it worse. There's people in here shopping for their families, their children, their friends, loved ones, and these kind of things we don't like to see, obviously. And we pray for their recovery, and we don't have an update on, well, we should hopefully have an update with them on their conditions. But the Texas Ranger Division is going to be actively investigating the officer involved shooting. Like I said, we had DPS, Killeen Police Department, and 3 other local agencies, officers that were off duty, that were in the Killeen Mall, that neutralized the suspect and kept him from harming or possibly killing any more people. So that's a good thing that it ended with officers doing their jobs and eliminating this guy. And his information is not readily available at this time. Of course, there's next of kin notification, but not a good day here in Killeen, Texas. But we have any questions, because that's basically all we have right now.
Well, there is video circulating of a body that was pulled out that the troopers were carrying out. Can you talk if that was the suspect that led police on the chase?
I don't know. As far as I know, I thought he's still in there. Like I said, I don't know. Maybe they were rendering aid to somebody. But when I heard this information happen, I had to get ready and get here, readily available to be here for y'all to kind of relay some information. But it's unknown if they were trying to render aid or if that's a suspect. But all I know is the suspect is no longer, and he's more than likely, if he's been shot and killed, he's going to be laying there still.
Do you know his age?
Don't know. I don't even know his identity, other than it's a male suspect who's driving a black truck. And my main concern was to get out here to relay to the community that is not an active shooter, because that was the call that I got, and that's a call that nobody ever wants to hear. This is my community. This is my home. Been here for 40 plus years, and this is you don't want this to happen anywhere, especially in your hometown.
Do you know if he was from this area?
It's unknown. Like I said, I don't know. We don't have that yet. Those details will come out after the investigation continues. And like I said, the Texas Ranger is going to be investigating the lead agency for the officer-involved shooting.
Is the vehicle still inside the mall?
Yes, it is. It's still there. You know, the main concern at first was to get everybody injured, to make sure there wasn't anybody they hadn't found. You know, that just to canvass the area. When you're running through JCPenney, you have clothing racks that are knocked over. They had to make sure that there's nobody else that could be potentially under there injured. So the main thing is for the safety of the community, for the potentially injured, and for number one, eliminate the threat. And thankfully, he was stopped when he was, because it could have been so much worse. This mall is pretty busy this time of year.
Was DPS the only law enforcement agency who fired their weapons?
No, the DPS and Killeen Police Department and 3 other local agencies. I'm not going to name them right now, but pending the investigation, I believe 2. But one was working an off-duty gig for security here in the mall, and the other 2 were off-duty with their families. So that's why, you know, officers will carry guns when we're off-duty, because you never know what's going to happen. Even in a place like Killeen Mall, where there's supposed to be good times and shopping happening, you know, it's just today's day and age. It's just, you never know.
Can you confirm the number of DPS agents that were shot and their current status?
There's one trooper that was involved. He was the lead trooper in it, and as he rounded the corner into the Killeen Mall, the Killeen Police Department joined him and assisted him. They followed him to the door where he drove through, and then of course they had to continue on foot. We're not going to drive through after him. They ran on foot, so they had the disadvantage of time and distance. And but luckily they got him fairly quickly. But he did travel a long, long way.
How much time was the suspect on loose in the mall after driving in?
I don't know the details of the time. I haven't listened to anything other than it was about 5 p.m. when the pursuit started in the Belton area at the interchange of I-14 and 35.
And what time did it end? Do we know?
I don't know. You know, I don't know the speeds of it. It probably, you know, from here to there, it could have been 15, 20 minutes. It's unconfirmed, but he did continued, and it's unknown. Obviously, whether it's intentional, that was his. We don't know who this guy is. We don't know what he's going through. We don't know if there's something going on, that this was an intentional act, or he's just out of desperation because he was being pursued. We don't know. Those things are going to come out in the investigation of the Rangers as they continue it.
And obviously the mall is probably closed right now. Any plans on when it might reopen, because it is around the corner?
The general manager for the Killeen Mall is here. They've been notified, all their people, of course. Unfortunately, this happened here 2 years ago, right at the Christmas time, of an active shooter. And you know, it doesn't shut it down for a long period of time. Just for us to get in there and get our investigation over with. It'll be, you know, throughout the night, of course, and then more than likely this side of the mall may be closed, but those answers that questions that they have to answer. But it should be, you know, fairly quick throughout the night. Get this cleaned up as much as they can. I don't think JCPenney's may be open tomorrow, but shortly after that they probably will. But it's based in the cleanup stage right now, the early investigative stage, and there's a lot of investigation needs to go on. Next of kin need to be notified of the suspect. We need to find out who he was, where he's coming from, why he's running. All those questions need to be answered.
And then as far as the other victims that were hit, the 4, I know you don't know their condition, but do we think that they were serious enough to be life-threatening?
Yes, there's the serious conditions, obviously, ranging, you know, from young to 6 years old to 75 is what I was told. So I don't know the other 2 in between. And then, as I just found out, there was one that walked in with some minor injuries relating to this incident. Anybody else? Same thing for Killeen Police Department, Killeen Fire Department. Like I said, it's real early. You know, we have a lot of people viewing by. It's right on I-14. There's a lot of cameras going on social media. A lot of rumors spread like wildfire. But, you know, the big one that it was an active shooter, but it was not, fortunately. But however, it was a terrible incident from somebody who made a terrible decision.
Sergeant, for you, what was the timeline in terms of you getting the call for active shooter, for you realizing that wasn't the situation at hand?
When I got the call, you know, that's what it was. So I initially had to go get ready, and within 10, 15 minutes I found out otherwise. So, I mean, does it make it any better? No, there's people injured. But, yeah, you know, we see these things happen all over the country, and unfortunately it's happened here in our home today.
But just a car driving through the actual store.
Yeah, and continuing. Didn't just crash in and stop. You know, this, for those who are from Killeen, you know, October 16th, 1991, just next door in Luby's, very similar incident. The Killeenites will never forget that. And that's the first thing that crossed my mind. But it's a bad day either way. There's people hurt, and hopefully for full recovery, nobody dies from this. Hopefully.
Just to confirm, you said that he was running because he was under the influence?
We don't know what his toxicology is. It was reported, I believe, that somebody called it in as a possible DWI driver, obviously driving very erratically. That's where the officers got involved. I think Temple Police Department initially tried to find him, found him, and he evaded the officers there, and then our trooper picked him up at the interchange at I-14 and I-35, and then he continued westbound over here to Killeen. So that's it. We'll keep y'all abreast of any further information that happens. It's going to go on through the remainder of the night. And thank y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think that one's mine. Oh, I'm so sorry. You're good. I was like, whoa.